600? 656? 700 horsepower? AMG has something cooking. Let's get into it on Mountain Roads. And we think that something is a new version of the AMG GT. The first thing we think we know is the engine will be the same twin-turbo V8 that's currently used in the new AMG GT. What we don't know is how cranked up to hardcore scale this V8 is going to be. We know the baseline is the GT63. It comes with 577 horsepower and 590 pound-feet. The top end for this hardcore scale would be the new GT63 SE Performance, putting out 805 horsepower and 1047 pound-feet using the twin-turbo V8 and an electric motor. We also don't think this version has any electrification, which we'll get into later. So with the hardcore scale established, where does that leave this GT? First, we've heard there is a Mercedes formula including a mix of weight reduction, new aerodynamics, and a mild power increase. We think Mercedes-Benz could easily push this new GT over 600 horsepower and not have to do any significant tweaking to the engine. We'll get into aerodynamics in a bit, but for weight reduction, we think the biggest thing will be the removal of the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. Yes, you heard that right. We think this new AMG GT is going to be rear-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive only. Our next guess would be to look no further than the new Aston Martin Vantage. With that V8 making 656 horsepower and 590 pound-feet, it would settle nicely into the middle between the GT63 and the GT63 SE Performance. Using Aston's own words, these power levels were achieved through extensive tuning. That extensive tuning means modified cam profiles, optimized compression ratios, larger turbos, and increased cooling. Again, Aston's own words. One other place we could look at is what's happening with aftermarket tuning to see what's possible with the new GT. It's been reported that tuning house Opus from Germany has already lifted the GT63 to 700 horsepower and 710 pound-feet. That's just an ECU tune, and that's just their stage 1. We think this new version will continue to use the MCT 9G transmission that might get a little tweaking for this hardcore version. The first big thing we noticed from the spy shots of this AMG GT is the absence of the yellow sticker that would tell us if this is an electrified test vehicle. So no hybridization and no battery. Just an ICE V8. Looking at the front, we can see this GT is wearing a much more aggressive front bumper. We can see much larger venting that we think could be for improved engine cooling or brake cooling. Moving to the side, we think this GT is wearing some lightweight wheels to help reduce its overall weight. Large carbon ceramic brakes with bronze painted calipers, we think, indicate a high-performance braking system. Around the back, we think this tester has bits from the aerodynamic package, as we can see a fixed rear wing and a more aggressive rear diffuser. For the interior, we don't think there will be anything revolutionary here. If you've seen the interior for the new AMG GT, then we think you've seen the interior for this new version. There might be some unique graphics in the Inbox infotainment system, but we think it will have the 11.9-inch portrait-style multimedia touchscreen and the 12.3-inch fully digital display for the driver. The GT63 SE Performance just debuted, and we think this GT will make its debut before the end of the year. We think it will go on sale early next year, with pricing landing somewhere in between the middle of the GT63's $175,000 price and the GT63 SE Performance's price of around $200K. Here at Mountain Roads, we can admit when we're wrong. And with the AMG GT, we were wrong. In the What We Think We Know episode, we said we don't think the GT will follow the SL and receive a downsized 4-cylinder. As it turns out, the AMG GT43 is a thing. In case you missed it, the GT43 comes with the Mercedes-Benz turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder. It gets 416 horsepower and 369 pound-feet and only comes with rear-wheel drive. It makes us curious if the 4-cylinder really needs to be in every model. And more curious to know what you think. Does every Mercedes-Benz model need an entry-level 4-cylinder? Let us know in the comments. If you made it this far, please consider joining the Roadies with a click on that green button. If you still haven't left yet, here's another episode YouTube thinks you should check out. We'll see you next time on Mountain Roads.